character of Mindwipe is a throwback to the G1 generation. He appeared once as a headmaster. He disappeared for a while, and then he came back in the War Within comic, and now here it is all of a sudden as part of the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen N.E.S.T Global Alliance lineup. He's always been a Decepticon. He's always been able to not only read minds, but use his telepathic powers to take over the minds of Autobots, or sometimes even Decepticons, and turn them into zombies, or turn them into drones, so that he can control them and no one else can. In G1, I think he actually tried to do this once to Optimus Prime, but his connection to the Matrix of Leadership somehow protected him from it, but you'll have to read the comic to figure that one out. One thing remains consistent, though, is that he's always transformed into a bat of some kind. And so with this new N.E.S.T Global Alliance figure, you're going to be seeing a lot of the same motifs. Really, Mindwipe is just an excuse for Hasbro to take a character that nobody remembers and just slap the name on a toy that they've recently come up with, just to say, hey, remember a character from G1? Yeah, that's basically all they're doing here. But I'll say this much, they certainly picked the right toy to put the name on. Mindwipe's vehicle mode is based on the F-117A Nighthawk stealth fighter bomber, which was created in the 1980s as a first-generation stealth fighter. It was classified for years after its first flight. Didn't really pop up until 1988. And let me just say, I'm a big fan of the Nighthawk. Okay, that thing is still badass. Okay, so the fact that a large toy version of a Transformer is based on the Nighthawk is just wow. Okay, that was the right button to push with me. Okay, so that automatically makes it win. But like I said, it's loosely based on the Nighthawk. The Nighthawk has an actual V-tail. The actual wings actually go to there. Okay, that's what those do. Oh, did I give that away? Sorry. The engine intakes are here, and it actually comes to a bit of a point here, and then it slopes downward. And while Mindwipe is reminiscent, I mean, it has a lot of the similar structure to it. Many of the panel lines are done up differently. The canopy is completely different. And, you know, obviously the bottom, if it's a fixed-wing aircraft, you gotta have that kibble. You know, the only time I've ever seen a Transformer that didn't have kibble was Animated Lugnut, who, to this day, I still say has the best vehicle mode kibble, or beside the fact that he doesn't have any kibble. But anyways, no, that's not true. Cybertron Jetfire. That was pretty cool. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. So yeah, here's Mindwipe in vehicle mode. The only thing I don't really like about, you know, top side, front, back, is that the engines aren't very well detailed. But okay. He has landing gear. Here, it folds up and down easily enough. What I like about the landing gear, though, or at least the nose gear, is that you see that line going down the middle? Okay, so the landing gear can go in and out easily enough, but here's the cool thing. The landing gear is actually split down the middle. Now, how awesome is that? I'll get to it during the transformation, but how awesome is it that it's not just that the landing gear is set off to one side, or it's attached to one side of the part because the nose splits in half. It's not just that the nose gear is off to one side and then there's this huge gap or huge bump on the other side. No, I mean, they actually split the landing gear in half. That's awesome. So that's also a win in my book. Not very much to Mindwipe in vehicle mode, but does it really need to be? There's one other thing I want to mention that doesn't appear in the instructions. You see these two holes in the top here? They serve no purpose whatsoever, but they actually are functional holes. There's a Scout-class Decepticon figure also from the N.E.S.T Global Alliance line. What happens is you set him down right on the top as a drone. Now, obviously, the Nighthawk couldn't do that, but a Decepticon certainly can. So, I can't think of what he's called. It's like Sky Stalker or something like that. He's a real badass-looking robot, too. It's just this little mono-wing vehicle. It's real cool. Anyways, the instructions don't say you can actually set it down on top. So, keep that in mind when you get this toy, that it's actually capable of fitting just with that one figure. I don't know of any others that it can interact with. But still, that's pretty cool. When I get that Scout class figure, and I am planning to get it, I won't do a video review of it, but I'll certainly take pictures of it then. I'm sorry that I can't do it now, but unfortunately it hasn't come out in my area yet, so... And now for the transformation for Voyager-class Decepticon Mindwipe. right off the bat, Hasbro forgot to tell us something. Well, maybe not right off the bat. Close up the landing gear. The instructions say that half the plane just folds in half, and that's it. That's all they say. Well, if you've never seen this before, where do you pull? I mean, how much gets pulled off? They don't tell you. Here's a hint. Here's the pivot point right here. Okay, everything's going to fold off of this. So what you have to look for, and I came across this quite by accident, and they don't tell you this part in the instructions, is you actually have to watch this panel line here. Watch that line. See how it suddenly splits? You're not supposed to do that in the instructions, but that's simply what happens. So yeah, you have to loosen that up, because these panels here are locked somehow. I don't know how. This is a couple weeks after I've gotten him. I still don't know how exactly it is that it locks him here, but it does. Anyways, and then you see the whole thing just folds like that. Now, ordinarily I don't go in the reverse process once I've done the transformation once. In order to put it back, it's more or less the same process. You see these red tabs here? They're spring powered, and those will have a use later. All you do is you just push things down, and it'll all line up on its own, but you won't be able to finalize it until you lock the wings back into place. And the wing is only tilted down slightly. You just tilt it back up a little bit. And then just realign things like so. See? So the wings are kind of the final lock, but then again, the instructions don't tell you that part. Okay, so now let's do it for real. And again, there's a pivot point there. And here's a nice, I'm not exactly sure if this is automorph, but it's still pretty cool. Chest panel pulls forward, and the head pops up. Oh yeah, you gotta pull the tails all the way forward. So, yeah. And then keep twisting. Look where the panel is here, where this section here is. That's the first position. That's not enough. That's the second position. You want to have a little overlap here, okay? So these two chest sections here are supposed to go beyond this. That's when you know it is locked in place. There's his head. You can go about this either way. Let's just deal with the feet. Split them apart. What you need to do is loosen the nose first, then pull forward. Loosen the nose, pull that forward. And you'll notice here the landing gear. Like I said, split them out. They could have had the landing gear off to one. They could have had the landing gear off to one foot or the other, but no, they split it right down the middle. How cool is that? And then, hey, waist articulation. Awesome. Now we deal with the arms. Split everything apart up here. And then what you want to do is tilt the shoulder inwards and then pull it down. Elbow joint. The elbow joint. And this part's a little confusing, but whatever. These blades, they actually wedge themselves. They don't snap in this position. They just kind of wedge themselves in place. So, but just remember that everything has to line up here in order for this to work. Anyways. And fold the hand all the way down until it clicks in place. And then, here comes the cool part. Remember those red tabs I was talking about earlier? Take the blade and look at that. They hold in place. How awesome is that? Except when you push up on it. Turn that around 180. Oops, wrong way. Lock in place. Put those down. And here comes everybody's favorite part. And I do mean everybody's favorite part. Unlike any other Transformer in the Revenge of the Fallen line, with the exception of maybe Sideways, and I'm talking brand new figures, not reissues from 2007. I'm talking brand new 2009, 2010 designs. Unlike all other figures for the 2009 lineup, this one has Automorph in it, as Sideways does as well. You've got this little gear that turns here, but you can see the red trigger right here. All you do is you just fold the wing backwards, okay? But watch what happens as I move it back. The gear is turning, the gear is turning. How cool is that? Now a top view. Look at that. Look how that thing just folds back like that. And that's one of the reasons I really like this guy, is because folding the wings back like that just makes him a little more reminiscent of that bat form that he's always had. So this is Mindwipe in robot mode. Now, believe it or not, I've already shown you the majority of posability on this guy. He's got this, he's got this, he's got this, he's got a lot of that actually. The interesting thing, with most Transformers that have a bird leg, well, mostly Bayformers, truth be told, you can tell it's a bird leg. But in this case, it's kind of lined up just so you don't have to worry about it. The other thing about a bird leg is they usually don't have big feet. You know, usually there's something up here. It's kind of small back here. It usually isn't much of a heel. But one thing I've found, though, you can kind of get away with this, is just store that lower leg, and you can actually get it into a kind of a normal leg position there. So anyways, that's an option. I don't do it because I kind of like the idea that he's got these giant thrusters back here, but yeah, okay. The other thing, and you'll have to look carefully, the ankles actually have a bit of rotation to them, just a little. I'm not exactly sure why, but it allows him to stand flat when his legs are a little further apart. So, it's okay. Just latches one or two positions, but you know, you still have a very generous ankle joint forward and backwards, but you've got a little in and out. It doesn't really hurt anything that they turn in and out, or don't turn in and out. You don't have to worry about the wing coming into contact with the tails, the V-tail, unless you turn it inwards. Then it becomes a problem. But hey, that's the price you have to pay for this awesome wing thing back here. Wing thing? Wasn't that the name of a Transformer? I don't know. He's got these bat-like wings sitting on the back. And this is kind of the nice thing I like about the details on Mindwipe, is that these little red tabs here, they didn't have to put them there. But it just looks real nice to have these kind of larger wings back here and then these smaller ones back here. Take that, Bumblebee. Anyways, you got articulation there, forward, backward. About the only thing you don't get on this figure is wrist articulation. And that has to do with the weapon gimmick, which I'll get into in a minute here. So you can't turn side to side. You can tilt up and down if you want to, but only if you release this. And the the other thing is I just showed you here, the blade here. If the arm is held straight up and down, it'll actually bump into the shoulder armor here. So that is also a little bit of a problem. Nothing you can't do, just tilt it forward. There, done. So that's awesome. The head is on a ball and socket joint, but here's the cool part. It's also on, it's a double jointed neck. So that means you can actually tilt his head up, really far up, and really far down. How cool is this? The panel is spring powered, so yeah, it'll always stay like that. And how cool is that? There's no light piping, unfortunately. You can tell that this panel up here was originally, you won't be able to see it. You can kind of see that kind of red haze underneath it. You can tell that that one piece was originally transparent red, and they painted it over. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be able to get his 3 eyes. Yes, he has 3 eyes in there. They wouldn't be able to get them to glow effectively enough. So painting it over, hey, I got no problem with that. If you want to, you can put the wings back. Actually, the official photo has them open. Don't trust the official photo, folks. And as I pointed out a moment earlier, you push on the red tabs there, and those pop out like that. Now his hands, they're open, but hey, he's holding the knives so that they pop out under his hands rather than above it. And really, because he's got it on both hands, I can't really say I blame the loss of the of wrist articulation, or that the hands are open. Yeah, I kind of wish the fists were closed, but if they'd been able to flip all the way up, that would have been cool. But unlike the Leader Class Optimus Prime figure that I covered, that they stay down says as much about the character as simply the fact that they pop out. So that's pretty awesome. Very, very, very awesome. Love this guy. This is a great toy. I love this thing. And the interesting thing about Mindwipe is that he's got the automorph kind of sort of in the head, and the weapons, those don't really count, but he's definitely got automorph in the wings and in the chest, if you want to call it that. But the interesting thing is, aside from the blades, he doesn't have Mech Alive, which was the new gimmick for 2009-2010. It almost makes me wonder if this toy was designed for 2007 instead of 2009, just based on the fact that it has automorph rather than Mech Alive. Well, it was just delayed 2 years or something like that. I don't know. I don't have behind-the-scenes info. But the other reason I say that it might be based on the 2007 lineup is that the sculpts for down here, the inside of the wing, back here, it's all nice and detailed, things like that, but it doesn't quite match up to the level of detail of the Revenge of the Fallen lines. It's detailed, certainly. It's a badass toy, no doubt. But it's just, something makes me question whether it was made in, or whether it was designed in 2007 or 2009. It's kind of hard to make up my mind. Something struck me a couple of days after I got this toy. For a Voyager-class set, it excels. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. I love this thing. It's great. It's got great aura to it. It's got awesome posability to it. The only posability problem you have to worry about is there's a little red panel in there, and you can't really bring that that thigh up beyond 45 degrees. That's really the only negative part to the posability, okay? So, like, this thing is awesome. But it occurs to me, while Voyager-class figures aren't exactly simple figures, this set almost feels like it was scaled up. The way things move around, the features it has, the coloring that was chosen, the way it poses, it almost feels like a larger version of a deluxe class figure. I mean, call me crazy, but everything that's on here could easily have been recreated at deluxe class size. I mean, does anybody else get that vibe? Because I certainly get it. It's a fantastic toy, but this, I think, is one of the few times where a larger figure could almost have been a smaller one, but I appreciate the extra effort that Hasbro put into giving us a larger version of this toy. Like, if this had said deluxe class on the box, that would not have surprised me. The size, certainly, but everything that's in it would not have surprised me if it would have said deluxe class. Anyways, I'm ranting about that part. The detail in this thing is fantastic. I love the aura this guy puts out. He's very, very creepy looking. He's got 3 eyes. Cool. He's got, 2 knives that stick down under his hands rather than flipping out above them. Like with most fixed-wing Transformers, they usually, they stick out on the back or they stick out on the arms, but they don't curl around, they don't fit into any Bayformers type appearance. I mean, the wings could easily have just, stuck out or just folded back, but no, he's got these little extra tabs sitting on the front here, and the wingtip folds over. That's awesome. The same thing with the V-tails back here. Yeah, the V-tails can fold in and out, and that's kind of useless in both modes, but I really like the way this character was treated. It does so many things. There's so much that's extra to this character. He's got It's not that the blades come off and you stick them in his hand. No, they actually stay downward like that. It's not just that the wings fold over, but he's got the little blades there. He's got the little spinning thing on the back, and it curls over like that. It's not just that his visor is painted in. No, it's actually made of transparent plastic. I mean, there's so many little details, not just surface details, but the function of it. It just feels like a lot of TLC was put into designing this set, and that's really impressive in my opinion. I know this is April 2010, but when November, December 2010 comes rolling around, I'm definitely going to put this guy into the Toy of the Year poll. This guy is totally deserving of it, and I strongly, highly recommend getting Voyager-class Decepticon Mindwipe. It is awesome. Not to be missed. Top line, top notch. Nothing wrong with it. In fact, there's only really one thing that I can find to pick about in this entire set. What the hell is this thing for? I know what's this decal for? Seriously. Like, I've never seen a Transformer that came with a decal that doesn't go somewhere on it. He's certainly not an Autobot. You know, what's up with that? That's just weird. And so, this is Ava Unit 4A for CollectionDX.com, signing off.